Hello, my very dear audio friends. Welcome back to my studio, Warsaw, Poland. I'm Paul. This is my humble YouTube channel, a place to talk about music mixing, mastering, sound design, game audio, and more. Guys, recently it's been very diversified. I've got a lot of topics for you, but maybe less of some mixing and mastering topics. So let's get back to this. And stereo imaging or stereo widening of your mono sources. This is what I would like to talk about today, because yes, I do have my favorite tool to stereoize things. It's K-Stereo by Universal Audio, but it made me actually think, let's compare K-Stereo to some other stereo makers to choose which one is the best, because there is a variety of products from this category on the market, and probably many of you are wondering which one should I choose, because making your mono sources stereo for any reason in a proper way, in a good sounding way, it's not such an easy task, I would say, for a couple of reasons. And yeah, which one should you choose? So today we will compare 7 of them and we'll try to answer this question. Which stereo maker should I choose for my mono sources? Let's go. And of course, as always, if you think my channel is a cool place, you can always subscribe somewhere here. If you like my vids, if you like my studio, you can get notified. You can like this vid and you can comment on it, so we ignite one more discussion. And now, let's get to work. Alright, my friends. Take a look at today's session. For the purposes of the demonstration and the battle, I choose a bassline, a relatively simple one, so it's like one isolated element. And of course it's mono, because this is the thing we need, the feature, but it's got also some additional advantages, like it occupies the whole range. So it plays in the lows, but it occupies some mids as well as some highs. So it's like an isolated element that lets us work on stereoizing it in the full spectrum, in the full range. And let's meet the contenders, the contestants for today. The first one, my favorite one, as I told you, is K-Stereo by Universal Audio. This is the one I'm using most and every day. Then comes Ozone Imager. I'll switch it on here. I'm not using it at all because I don't like the results it's giving me. You'll listen and you'll tell me what you think. Then comes Leapwing StageOne2. This is the trial. I think I've heard it sometimes, but I'm not really familiar with it. Then comes MStereoSpread by Melda. I always knew it's there. I never tried it. It probably, I suppose, and as with all Melda tools, this one is a really cool one, a good one. Then comes Stereo Savage by Plugin Boutique. I know nothing about it, I didn't even know it exists. Then Expanse 3D by United Plugins. It looks a bit like this magic sauce, like sound goodizer auto thing. I'm not always into simplified tools, as you might know, but it doesn't mean it can't sound good, so we'll give it a go. And then the last one is Noise Ash Stereo Finalizer. I know nothing about it, because I don't use Noise Ash tools. And there's a reason behind it. I'm not gonna talk about this reason in this episode. Maybe a separate one episode about Noise Ash tools, why I don't consider them good. But let's give it a go and let's not exclude Noise Ash from the test. And also, what I should maybe mention, yeah, I used some Kirchhoff EQ to brighten up the tops. Then each channel has got Waves S1 imagers, so that after making each of our sounds stereo, then we can check the mono compatibility. It's a vital step in stereoizing your sources. When you do it, then get back to mono to check the mono compatibility, so that you know that there is no phase cancellation, phase issues, and you're good to go with mono again. This must happen every time. Guys, that's the session. These are the contenders. This is the material. Let's go with K-Stereo first. And I will tweak it really fast, I think, because I know this plugin and I use it a lot. So deep and wide are the parameters here. Deep gives some short delays to add room-like dimension to your sound. And you can even make it in mono, while wide, chorus like stereo effect, and I will focus only on wide. And actually, making it wide just like this already sounds very good for me. And we'll make it mono again. Fully mono compatible. And guys, please notice one more thing. I will try today to call the plugins and what they do, not him and he does, he thinks, he, etc. But I will call it properly it. I decided to fight this issue that I have in my videos, that I'm personalizing the tools. No, I'm gonna call it it today. Wish me luck. Let's get back to it. And guys, I can have additional ambience filters, so I don't want this tool to work below 200 Hertz. Yeah, and that's it. I'm good to go. This is the sound I was looking for. And now let's make this bass stereo with Ozone, and I'll show you what I mean exactly. So 200, below this we do nothing. Then we'll make it wider here, and really make it wider I have to put stereoize on, and algorithm number 1 and 2 are here. 2 is the default, listen to it. It's some kind of phase shifting. It is mono compatible. But it doesn't sound good at all. The left channel appears louder because the signal is phase shifted so that the left channel appears earlier in the mix, and when something approaches your left ear faster than your right ear, you tend to think it's louder. It's not. It's a cool thing. Actually, it's a cool psychoacoustic feature that when the sound is earlier for your ear, you tend to focus on it because it's louder. This was about to help you hunt wild animals and avoid threats. For example, that you were hearing something earlier meant that it approaches you quicker and you have to focus on it. Seriously, guys, read about it. It's like a cool biology of our hearing that's there in phase shifting. You can achieve perceived loudness like this, but no, I don't like it. I'm gonna switch to algorithm number 1. Let's say this is good, but it's not like too attractive. It's not too cool for me. Let's compare it against K-Stereo. I mean, K-Stereo is so natural, so well balanced. I mean, it can sit in the mix right away. And I know it does, because I really use it on everyday basis. While Ozone, it's kind of fine, but it's not that well balanced. I tend to use EQ on it. I tend to think too much how to fit it into my mix. And while it's not like bad, it's not the same good, I would say, and that's why I'm not really into it. Let's switch to StageOne by Leapwing. This is how it looks. It's also multiband, so below 200 nothing will happen. We won't touch it. And yeah, let's go. Okay, so depth is again kind of this 3D room delay reverb-like thing. Let's try without it. I'm not sure if it's cool, if it's nice. Let's compare against K-Stereo. Weird, it's distorted, it moved back in the mix, it's like in the background, which I don't really like. I'm not really sure. I've got 3 parameters: width, depth, and mono spread, center gravity. The same thing I told you about. It's not panning the sound. Take a look at the meters. They remain almost the same, but perceived loudness shifts totally. This is making sound, the mono sound, appear in one of the channels earlier, not louder. But do I like the result? And do I like the tweaks? Not really convinced. I leave it here. It didn't win my heart, to be frank. Melda. Okay, so it's multi-band. These are phase shifts, but using many bands. Like, okay, this is a cool idea. We don't want it to work below 200, and then we want to work it all the way up. And guys, to my ear, it sounds very much like K-Stereo. Let's see whether I'm right. Very tweakable, very easy to use. Some people say that Melda is difficult. Some of the plugins are really in-depth with lots of controls, but this one is easy. And frankly, it sounds great. What about mono compatibility? Spot on. All seems good, all seems in phase, snappy, and how it should be exactly. I really like it. Stereo Savage by Plugin Boutique is the next one. Okay, what can I do? This is like a chorus thing way more than anything else. There are some perceived loudness issues, while the meter shows that all is good and all is the same level. You can hear that you perceive some stuff a bit more quiet, which means that we may have some phase cancellation stuff, for example, somewhere on the way. We don't want it to work around below 200. Can I make it kind of precise? Again, delay that makes one of the channels appear later in the mix. Maybe detune and delay together. Oh, it's one or the another. I cannot use both. Reflect. What's reflect? phase shifting, split band. Frankly, if I could use them maybe together... Can I use them together? Not really, I'm afraid. No way. This is pure phase cancellation. Switching the phase of one of the channels, or quasi-stereo, pseudo-stereo, whatever you call it, is one of the worst ways to create stereo, frankly. And did plugin boutique people seriously put phase shifting as width in this plugin? Because if they did, I completely don't understand it. I will show to you why in a second. Sounds crazy white, right? Listen to it now when I switch it to mono. Why did they make it like this? It's so easy to spoil, to destroy your mix without even knowing it if you don't check it in mono for any reason. I will not tweak this plugin anymore because this is a mistake. You cannot put phase cancellation and sell it as width of your signal. This is the last place, definitely, I'm sure about it, and I will not tweak it anymore because I'm really shocked. It's excluded for any further research. I'm sorry, then Expanse 3D, let's shake it off. Let's switch to something else. This is kind of an additional EQ, I think. I will not use it at all. And also I cannot make it multiband so that I can exclude the low end from being stereo, which is a pity. Not even close. It's not even close. I would say that MStereoSpread is the second favorite. Then Expanse 3. Like, what about mono compatibility? The signal appears a bit more quiet, but let's say it's okay. I will try to compare it against Ozone. I would say I like Ozone a bit more because Expanse 3D gives me this feel of phase inverting on one of the channels. I don't like it. This is not the way to make things sound stereo. While this Leapwing thing, yes, it's completely not my thing. I'll leave it here. And then Noise Ash Stereo Finalizer. I'm kind of afraid to touch it. Again, guys, listen to this when I make it mono. Phase inverting is not the way to make things stereo. Plugins like this harm your mixes. Anyway, let's leave mix here. Band and low pass, and no high pass at 200, low pass, high pass controls. This is cool because making your lowest bass stereo is usually a bad idea. You can keep it really seriously mono in your mix whatsoever. And guys, let's try to tweak it again, but I'm not really convinced. It became a bit more quiet, I believe. Let's compare it in the mixer window against K-Stereo. You see, 2 decibels quieter, which means there is some phase stuff going on that we don't want. And the tone of it... it's almost as bad as Stereo Savage. Is not that bad. Now I will listen to it all, because this is how I see things. Stereo Savage is the worst one. Definitely. Stereo Finalizer is not a good one, for sure, and I could never use it on everyday basis. Leapwing StageOne is like legit technically, but the sonic results are not of my liking. I don't like how it sounds. Expanse 3D is very similar to Ozone 10, while Ozone 10, which is not my favorite, still sounds a bit better, more coherent. MStereoSpread is surprisingly nice and very close to K-Stereo, which remains my favorite. But this Melda thing, this is a discovery for me. And let's listen to it all so that we compare the final results and hear what's under the hood as a whole. K-Stereo will remain my favorite, and I'm happy that it's my choice. I just confirmed this choice as the best one for me. But I have to tell you that Melda is really cool. I didn't know it sounds so coherent, so nice, so natural. And yes, I could easily replace my K-Stereo with Melda. Ozone, Expanse, Leapwing are kind of legit, while Noise Ash and Plugin Boutique, they are no-goes for me. I'm sorry, guys. This is an independent, honest test. I think I'm ready to sum the things up. As you could see and, of course, hear, there are many different ways to approach the topic of making a mono sound a stereo one. And the tools we could test today, they differ in layouts, in generally in user experience, they differ in approach, and they differ in results. You may have your favorite ones, like I'm still into K-Stereo, as you know already, but it's a matter of personal taste, also about the things you want to achieve, the things like the way you like working with things simply. but some of the tools, like mainly this plugin boutique thing, like make you totally puzzled, like seriously switching the phase 180 degrees on one channel and yeah, you can do it like that. Anyway, guys, what's maybe also important here that they differ in price, and this Melda thing, which gave me really so nice results, would be my second pick among the whole bunch. And it's not that expensive, but still I wish K-Stereo was made native, not only for UAD hardware DSP platform. And this is what I'm really looking forward to, because this one rocks still. Guys, that's it for today. I hope you liked it. I hope to see you very, very soon and hear out from you down below in the comments section. As always, take care. See you soon.